Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of accessible versions of sun salutation. So obviously you can do a sun salutation by a wall, by a chair. I mean, it might not be obvious to you, but you can, and these are really great. I find that when I'm teaching a mixed level class, it's really useful to have some tricks up my sleeve to be able to give to people who need a bit more support. So the first version I'm going to show you is with a couple of blocks and a blanket for the knees. So make sure you've got the blanket kind of 3/4 of the way back on your mat, and that's where your knee will land, because often people don't really like having a lot of pressure on their knees. And I'd have 2 blocks near the front of the mat, in front of my feet, level with my feet on their highest setting to begin with. So I'll show you slowly on the first one, and then on the second one I'll go to speed, and I'll also give the instruction of a more classical version in case you've got 2 people or different abilities in your class. So you'd start in the normal way, feet under the hips, looking forward, and hands in prayer in front of the chest. You take a deep breath in and out to begin, and then your inhale, you'll be stretching the spine, reaching up as much or as little as you feel comfortable to do, and then exhaling, I recommend hands at the hips, bending the knees and coming down, finding those blocks with your hands, and then you can move yourself into a forward bend that feels comfortable for you. And then while the blocks are on their highest setting, I don't recommend lunging from there. I go to a lower setting, which is much more stable. I take the leg back and I drop the knee to the floor if that was comfortable for my knee. So that's your inhale back, and then your exhale, you can just take the other knee back and you go into an angry cat. And then your inhale would be the cow. My hands are quite far forward, so it's nice and gentle on my shoulders. Exhaling, you can either go back to that angry cat, or you have a chance to do a version of the down dog. And then your inhale, you bring the leg forward, maybe drop the knee, maybe don't bother. Exhale into your forward bend, maybe you need a bit higher blocks now. And then inhale, maybe softening the knees, hands on the hips, coming up, stretching up as far as you can. And exhale, hands into prayer. So I'll do the other side, and I'll give all the instructions down, so if you've got lots of different people in your class. So inhale and then exhale, hands together. Inhale, stretch up and back as far as it's comfortable for you. Exhale, reaching forward or hands on the hips, softening the knees to come down, so you can have hands on the highest setting. Inhale, coming down and setting the blocks, right leg back, dropping the knee if it's comfortable for you. Holding the breath, left knee back into plank or hands and knees. Exhaling into angry cat or knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhaling, cow stretch or cobra. Exhaling, angry cat or down dog. Inhale, right foot comes forward. Left knee can drop if it wants to. Exhale, left foot comes forward into a forward bend of your choice. And then inhaling, either reaching forward or hands to the hips, soften the knees, lift the chest, stretch up and back as much as you want. And exhale, coming back. So that's a way of weaving in both versions. Now often I have people as well that have had wrist injuries or shoulder operations. It happens to a lot of women especially. They get rotator cuff injuries or RSI in their wrists. And so I use a chair in that circumstance. So I take away my blocks and my blanket because I don't drop the knee in this one. So I don't want to put too much weight down onto the floor. The lower you go down on the floor, the more pressure you're going to use to come back up. So with this version, I would start in the same way. I take an inhale and an exhale, hands in prayer, and then I'm going to inhale and reach up. So if I've got a shoulder injury, probably I'm just working on opening the heart. Exhaling, I'd come and I'd rest down for a nice restorative forward bend. Inhaling, I would take the sides of the chair, I'd take one leg back and I'd come into a high lunge. And here you have the option of pressing that foot down, coming up again for a bit of a chest open. And then I'd come into a kind of chair version of exhaling into angry cat. Inhale into cow. And then exhale, I've got the chance to do a bit of a downward facing dog here, as much as my shoulders and my wrists permit. And then inhale, I'll take the leg forward again. I come into a high lunge. Again, I've got the option of opening the chest. And then exhaling, you're back into your nice, gentle, restorative forward bend. And then inhaling, coming up. So this is very good if you can't go down and get up again, because you're never going that far down. You don't have to put any weight bearing on the wrists. It's also very nice if you've got back problems, because you're in control the whole way. can be however you want it to be. So I'd start here, inhaling, exhaling, hands together. Inhaling, reach up with the chest. Exhaling, reaching forward for a forward bend. Inhaling, right leg back, lunge. Holding the breath, come to chair, and exhale into angry cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot comes forward, lunge. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, hands on hips, reach up, lift up, come up as much as you want. And exhale, hands into prayer. So I hope these are useful to you. You can weave them into normal classes, whatever they are. And it's really nice to have all these tricks in your class. I often have chaos in my classes. If you know me, then you'll know I have some people with chairs, some people using walls, some people using all sorts of props. And there's always a way we can support people in classes. So I recommend you just work out as you go along, offer people all these different ideas at the beginning, and then they can choose what they like, they can choose what works for them, and they can change it as they go along. And they can talk to you before class, after class, they can say what worked, what didn't work, and that might give you ideas. And then the people who are, you know, the normal, super fit bods will still be getting their ideal yoga class. No one's going to be disappointed, but everyone is going to be held within their range of motion. I hope that helps. Have a lovely Friday, I think it is. Thanks a lot.